Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another card making video. Today I am going to be sharing this beautiful Gerber Daisies Mother's Day card. You could really make this any occasion, but these are absolutely stunning, and everything I'm using today is from the Papertrey ink March 2023 release. I started by taking the blooms and die cutting everything from white cardstock, and then I'm going to apply some of my favorite Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks to these. I'm using the trios of ink. So my orange color combination here today is going to be one I don't use that often actually. It's Peachy, Grapefruit, and Mandarin. My goal for my daisies was to really make them bright and colorful, and I want them to pop. These are going to be a nice big size and probably my favorite product from the release. You guys know how much I love die cutting and putting all of the little parts and pieces together. And the great thing here is these are not super teeny tiny, so it's going to be pretty easy to put it all together. After I have colored my flower, I'm going to color that outer ring with the darkest color in the trio, and then I'm going to color the center of my flower with mocha ink to make it nice and dark. When the card is completely put together, I will be finishing the center of my open face flowers with some glossy accents. There is a flower or flower parts that you can piece together for some different sizes to make like a flower that isn't open face, I suppose, more kind of like flat or looking up, which I love for the variety. Oh, I lied, not mocha, the color woodsy, pardon me. And then I just kind of laid it all out together because I wanted to see how it looked. And when you place those center pieces, it absolutely comes to life. I am using the Simon Says Stamp glass mat for all of my ink blending. You can see that it wipes up so quickly and easily with a microfiber cloth. Next, I am going for my purples, bright, beautiful purple. This is going to be lilac, orchid, and amethyst. If you're ever needing inspiration for not just flowers, but really anything, definitely just do a Google search. That's one of my favorite things to do. I actually found a photo that had all of these beautiful Gerber daisies, bold, bright colors, and that is what inspired my design today. I was trying to decide, do I want to go like white daisies and do a little bit more, subdued, I suppose, or do I want to go really bright and colorful? And I chose bright and colorful, and I think that was the right decision because I absolutely love this card. Now, I did mention at the beginning of the video that this would work for many occasions. So maybe you don't need a Mother's Day card, maybe you need birthday, maybe you need hello or sympathy. Again, I am just very big into making sure or trying to create cards that will work for a multitude of seasons or occasions, not just one certain event. And florals are always good for many, many things. For my last color combination, I am going to do bright pinks. This is going to be the pink color combination of Carnation, Peony, and Rose. And the rose is definitely going to give it that deep, dark feel. Now you'll notice that I keep the inking towards the center of my flower, and that is very much on purpose so that it gets lighter out towards the tip, which gives you the nice variation. That's where the lighter color tended to go. I went a little further out with my lighter color. I'm trying to keep my darker color more towards the center. As the color absorbs into the cardstock, it is going to smooth out, and I don't really want to say fade, but it definitely smooths and just gives you a more uniform, even appearance. So anything you're seeing here that looks a little blotchy, but in the finished card it looks beautiful, that's not a trick of the camera. It really just smooths out, which I love. Now we have lots of beautiful greenery, or I think lots of beautiful greenery kind of helps set apart a card. I think it always works fantastic for a floral design to have lots of greenery. I'm going to use just 2 shades of green, Limelicious and Perfection. I'm not going to do the whole trio. We're going to go in with our light color first. In fact, I'm going to switch to a bigger blending brush. These are not teeny tiny little pieces. And then with the small brush, I will add the Perfection for the darker. And again, this is going to smooth out. I did die cut additional leaves. There is going to be a total of 5 on the finished card. So 4 flowers, pardon me, and 5 leaves, and that really fills the space of an A2 card beautifully. I know these are big and bold, but I think that they still work very nicely on an A2 card without overwhelming it. For the center part of my panel, at this point I hadn't decided to use the side-facing flower yet. I am going to take some of the Simple Stitch Crochet stencils. This is the small set, and there's 2 pieces per set. There's a small and a large, and using some Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink, I'm going to apply it through the stencil. This is the middle part die cut from the Border Bling Scalloped frame die. So this is the new frame die for March 2023. Absolutely love this frame. And I am just using this centerpiece because we will go ahead and inlay it back together. For my background, I am going to do, excuse me, the Peacock Feathers for the Simple Stitch Crochet. And then I'm going to go over the whole thing with Salvaged Patina. When I'm doing bright colorful, my go-to is generally an aqua color, an aqua or a teal. I feel like it just sets off the blooms perfectly. And I love the little bit of texture this is going to add to our background. Really, really fun. You could even do this on a colored cardstock panel if you wanted to, and save the time for ink blending. So I'm going to go over my background now with the Salvaged Patina. And it does dull the peacock feathers a little bit, but by doing the design in peacock feathers, it definitely keeps it a little bit more bold and doesn't disappear into the background. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my border or my scalloped frame, which is out of white, and I'm going to use the Spellbinders Tool-in-One rolling brush to just get some of that little eyelet trim out. I am a huge fan of like a little decorative edge in a frame like this, and this is a beautiful frame. I absolutely love it. And anything that doesn't come out with the roller, I'm just then going to take the piercing part of the tool and pop all of those out. This does just take a little bit of time, but it goes pretty fast. As far as assembly of this card, this took me an hour to create. I did have a general idea before I started of what I was going to do, so that did help, but very fast and easy. And I want to keep my frame fairly white, but I don't want it to be so stark white that it stands out too much from the frame itself. So to begin with, I looked at it and I thought, you know, I want to spritz this with Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink. Pardon me, I can't speak. And I thought it's just still too white. So just going around the inside edge of the frame, I didn't re-ink my brush at all. I'm just using whatever Salvaged Patina is left. I'm just going to ink that inner edge a little bit just to soften it, and I like that. And then I'm going to take my Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink, and my favorite technique lately is just doing a little spritz and spray, inking it up, dirtying it up just a little bit, and we're going to set that aside to completely dry. So here are my parts and pieces for, and there's the die, my parts and pieces for the side-facing flower. And this I am going to do yellow, and I decided to only use Sunbeam. I want the edges of the petals to be white, so I am not going to pull any other color. We're just going to go in with a small blending brush and do Sunbeam. And then that last little piece is Greenery, and so we will go ahead and go in with our green blending brush for that one. And I like that there's so many different parts and pieces. You can really build a lot of different flowers. If the big ones don't fit on your card, you can go with a lot more small ones. If you want to maybe just do 1 or 2 big ones, you can do that. Lots and lots of ways to mix and match these flowers. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always a fan of lots of beautiful floral dies, and these daisies are one of my very favorites. So now I am going to go ahead and start putting my flowers together. Oh, first I forgot. I did die cut the Mom Larger Than Life out of white cardstock as well. And whatever ink was left on my pink blending brush, which was mostly that rose color, I'm going to ink the bottom of the word. I've die cut the word 3 times from white cardstock, and you can see that I've laid everything out, kind of giving myself a very good idea of how it's going to work. Let's go ahead and assemble the flowers now. And I am using some liquid glue. I want to make sure they're all really nice and assembled before I go to put them on my card. And then I'm going to glue the words one on top of another, finishing with the pink inked Mom on top. And I like that just little bit of color to this, and it will be opposite of where I place the pink flower on the card, so it balances the design really nicely. You could die cut stems from other die sets if you want to, or even cut stems from cardstock and ink them up if you want to have stems for your flowers. Okay, once I have all of these, I do want to adhere my frame and the background panel to my card base. And I do want to say that that scallop frame is going to hang off the edge of your card base just a little bit. If that bothers you, you can always use a bigger size card if you wanted. I don't mind it too much. I did not try to see if it fits in an A2 envelope, so I apologize for that. This might be one that you need to send in a larger envelope or hand deliver. So see how it hangs off? There it gives you a pretty good idea of how it hangs off the edge. I'm just going to use some acrylic blocks to hold that down. And then I'm going to replace the inside of my panel. And I'm going to start adhering my florals. And again, lots of greenery is going to help balance this out beautifully. And I want to make sure that I'm leaving enough room for the Mom up at the top, as well as the sentiment strip that I'm going to add in a bit. You know me, I always love to balance out a big sentiment, or especially a big die cut sentiment, with a small sentiment strip of some sort. Oh my gosh, look at these beauties. I would love to get a floral arrangement like this. Then I'm just going to kind of tuck Mom in place an acrylic block on top, and using an acrylic block, another acrylic block, I am going to stamp my sentiment from the Larger Than Life Mom Clear Stamps set with VersaFine Onyx black ink. And then I did use my absolute favorite Simon Says Stamp sentiment labels dies to die cut my greeting. I have mentioned this many times, but I actually don't even put them away. I have a magnet next to my desk that I use, and I just grab them because I find myself reaching for them almost every time I craft. I am a huge fan of sentiment strips, and I love how they look die cut. So I am going to run this through the die cutting machine, lining up one side and then the other. I am using the second smallest die, and then we will pop up the greeting right underneath Mom with some foam adhesive. I think that's going to make it lay really nice. Right there on our card. And I just love how that perfectly complements the large Mom. Next, I do want to add that glossy accents to the center of my flowers. I'm going to try to do a pretty light application so it dries quickly. But you could always do more. It just is going to take a little bit more dry time, and it's going to dry completely clear and make the center of my flowers nice and shiny. I also want to add some little pearl embellishments. These are Pretty Pink Posh marshmallow pearls, and I think that it just adds a nice little finishing embellishment to the card. So I'm just going to scatter some on the leaves, some not. We're just going to scatter a few of these around. And of course, I want to add a little candy apple red heart somewhere to my design as well. If you are new here, I tend to like to add hearts to almost all of my cards. Not all, you guys always let me know when I don't, but most of my cards do feature some little heart somewhere. It's just kind of one of my very favorite things. Let's add a few more pearls up here in that upper left corner. And that is it, you guys. Super pretty, very fun, and lots of brand new Papertrey ink product used on this card. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Mother's Day card featuring March 2023 products from Papertrey Ink. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There's exclusive content. You'll receive a handmade birthday card from me during your birthday month, monthly lives for my top tier patrons, and more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you're always notified when I have a video or go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.